today what we got is a 1988 Suzuki Samurai. I've been working on this car for on and off, just on weekends, piddling around. It's had a full frame-off restoration. The whole bottom end's outside. We're going to show that in a later video. Today I'm going to be putting on some rocker panel skirts. You can order these online. They're available from many places. Just make sure that you get a good quality steel and you check out the company before you buy anything online. That way you don't get ripped off. Well, basically what I've done already is the entire floors have been replaced in this Samurai. And this section of the rocker here had some minor rust damage. And if you know anything about Suzuki Samurais, you'll know that this was caused by that piece of metal they put on here from the factory, and it holds a plastic trim piece, a little black plastic trim piece. That thing holds moisture in the top. It's not sealed up, so water sits on all those spot wells and rust out. Right here's a hole all the way into it. You can see my finger. What I've done in the process of rebuilding this tub is everything has been sanded down, cleaned, and a coat of POR 15, which is anti-rust. It's a type of treatment that's paintable. It doesn't shrink. You get it on something, it's not coming off. Very good quality product. It's called POR space 15, POR 15. Very good stuff. All this surface rust here has been either ground out, burned out, or cleaned up. And I didn't want to cut this panel out because what metal is still here is good. Okay? And if I would have cut all this out and tried to weld this piece in, it would have been almost impossible. And for the average home mechanic, you're not going to be able to weld this material. This stuff is so thin. Every time I put a panel in here, I had to practice for 30 minutes to get my spot welds just right so I wouldn't burn through. It's very thin metal. It's strong, but it's thin. So my choice was to use the skins. And what we're going to do is we're going to grind this down, clean it up. We're going to grind the ends down over here because this panel overlaps. And we're going to have to trim this up a bit and make it fit as tight as possible up against this. And once we do, we're going to clean all this up a little bit. And we're going to take a grinder and we're going to rough this up. And we're going to use body panel adhesive from 3M. Let me grab a tube real quick and I'll show you what that is. This is part number 3M, part number 08115. You don't get the gun. This tube here has both parts of the adhesive and it mixes it for you with a special nozzle. Okay? If you order this tube online, you usually get 2 of these nozzles with it. This tube can be resealed and reused. This cap comes off and goes back in, so you can reseal, reuse. This gun runs you about $40. It's a part number from 3M 08571. And together it's just a handy deal. But we're going to seam seal this up here. And we're going to run some seam sealer here. The bottom will be overlapped and welded, spot welded. Here on the inner wheel well, that'll be spot welded. And here on this front inner wheel well, that'll be spot welded. We'll also add seam sealer right here. Okay, we want these joints nice and tight, so we're going to have to clean them up first. I've got my safety glasses and I've got my extension cord. So let's see if we can get something done. And I'll try to get some close-ups of this when I get to that point. as you can see, I just started touching that disc on, and this is nowhere near being even flat. I don't want to grind any more metal off than I need. So what I need to do is this has been bent several times over the years, stuff rubbing, whatever. So I'm gonna tap this back in and I'm gonna try to line this up. And we're gonna hammer and dolly this so we can get it right. So what I'm trying to do is get this where it looks flush from the front, because when this metal piece goes back on that holds the fender well, this is going to want to set flush. Okay? Now that's about as good as that's going to get. Now let's see if we can get some grinding.